my dear friends. Today happens to be the 24th day of September 2018. And let me tell you, what a spectacular sight to begin the morning. Just a few minutes ago, I've been telling you now that there's a cruise ship which was due in here on today, Monday, to launch the 2018-2019 cruise ship season, the Carnival Breeze. Well, let me tell you, just before I sat here and turned on this microphone and camera, took a look outside on the balcony, and what a spectacular sight. The Carnival Breeze berthed just a few minutes ago. Actually, she's probably still in the process of tying up, but beautiful, beautiful sight. This ship has a capacity of something like 4,400 plus on board, and if I'm not mistaken, a crew capacity of something like 1,300 plus. And a little later on today, I'm going to take a run down there. I would love to have been there to see that berthing. But unfortunately, I gotta be here. So later on today, I'm gonna take a run down to downtown, take a look at that and get some images, and I'll share those with you tomorrow morning. Now, while the season officially begins today, the next cruise call will apparently not be until the 3rd of October, okay? So, that's it for the carnival. This morning, let us begin by taking a look at what was Tropical Storm Kirk, which seemed to be headed this way for a while. While it is expected to lose much of its steam, and you're going to find out that he has, before getting close to the Lesser Antilles, let me tell you, this would have been the closest call that we have had so far this season. The latest from the National Hurricane Center is that at 5 o'clock this morning, the center of Tropical Depression Kirk was located near latitude 9.4 degrees north, which means, still well below us. And it was situated about 830 miles to the southwest of the southernmost Cape Verde Islands. The depression is now moving towards the west at near 21 miles an hour, and a rapid westward motion is anticipated for the next day or two. A slight decrease in forward motion is expected by the middle of the week. Maximum sustained winds have now decreased to near 30 miles an hour, with a few gusts up to 40. Little change in the maximum winds is forecast during the next several days, and it is possible, says the Met Office here, that Kirk could degenerate into a trough of low pressure during the next day or two, while it continues to move across the central Atlantic. The estimated minimum pressure is down to 1,007 millibars. That's about 29.74 inches, okay? So much for Kirk. Now, for the past 3 Mondays, we have been bringing you a feature from the Grenada Community Library. It's titled The Caribbean Literature Quote of the Week. And right now, I would like you to listen to this week's quote, which comes to you from a young lady by the name of Ruth Blake.
Brought to you by the Grenada Community Library in collaboration with our partners for literacy, Mitchell & Co. Welcome to the Caribbean Literature Quote of the Week. We speak when the rain falls in the mountains, the river slowly swells, come rushing down over boulders, across roads, crumbling bridges that would hold their power against its force. We speak for the same reason that the thunder frightens the child, that the lightning startles the tree. We do not speak to defy your tenets, though we do, or upset your plans, even though we do, or to tumble your towers of Babel. We speak in spite of the fact that we do. We speak because your plan is not our plan. We speak because we dream, because our dreams are not of living in pig pens in any other body's backyard, not of catching crumbs from tables, not of crawling forever along the everlasting antline to veer away in quick detours when the elephant's foot crashes down, not of having to turn back when the smell of death assails our senses, not of striving forever to catch the image of your gods within our creation. We speak for the same reason that the flower blooms, that the sun sets, that the fruit ripens, because temple built to honor myths must crumble. As the dawn breaks, there is nothing you can do about your feeble bridges when the rain falls in the mountains and swells the flow of rivers. We speak not to agitate you, but in spite of your agitation, because we are workers, peasants, leaders, you see, and we're not born to be your vassals. From the Hindman's Book of Caribbean Poetry, Because the Dawn Breaks, by Merle Collins, which was written to acknowledge the people involved in the Grenadian Revolution. It is available in the George Prophet Caribbean Collection at the Grenada Community Library, number 7 Lucas Street, St. George. Merle Collins was born in 1950 in Aruba to Grenadian parents. In 1972, she graduated from the University of the West Indies in Mona, Jamaica, where she undertook a degree in English and Spanish. She then returned to Grenada and taught history and Spanish for 2 years. In 1980, she was awarded a master's degree in Latin American Studies from Georgetown University. Her first collection of poetry, Because the Dawn Breaks, was published in 1985. In 1987, she published her first novel, Angel, which was followed by a collection of short stories, Rain Darling, in 1990, and a second collection of poetry, Rotten Palmrack, in 1992. Her second novel, The Color of Forgetting, was published in 1995. With thanks for the kind support of George Grant and GrenadaBroadcast.com, we invite you to listen every week. Find us online, share, and spread the wealth and words of our literature and authors. Please feel free to visit the Grenada Community Library to borrow great books for free.
Ain't she a little angel? Her name is Ruth Blake, and I would love if you would spread the word around about what these youngsters are doing, and also about the Grenada Community Library. It's a great, great asset to our educational system here in Grenada. Let me say a quick hello there to hello Chester out there in Switzerland, and John. John is checking in on Facebook, as is Chester. John is checking in from parish number 7. That's what he refers to Kiriakou as. One more note before we get this morning to the national report. I only found this out over the weekend, actually. Did you know that there were 2 recent fires at premises owned by the State-Controlled Marketing and National Importing Board, and that those fires are being treated as acts of arson? Well, a well-placed police officer has told that to the New Today newspaper. The officer did not wish to be named and said that a number of persons have already been interviewed by the Criminal Investigation Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force as part of the ongoing investigation. The mysterious fires affected the MNIB depot at River Road down here in St. George. The first took place on January 26th, and the other one 6 days later on February 2nd. The officer, who spoke on condition that he was not identified, said that the probe into the fires has taken a new turn in light of the now wider investigation into the MNIB by the Integrity Commission for alleged corruption and financial wrongdoings. The newspaper says that it understands that a fire expert from Trinidad and Tobago was called in to assist the fire department with the local Royal Grenada Police Force in trying to ascertain the causes of both fires. According to the source, hear this, there was enough evidence within the building which led firemen to conclude that the fires were deliberately set in order to destroy evidence. The fire did not start in one place, but at different places in the building. It is quite obvious that the person or persons wanted to see the place ablaze to destroy documents. That's a report that appeared in the New Today this past weekend. Alrighty, folks, 12 minutes after the hour. Let's take a little break here, and then we will come on back with the National Report.
So, babe, Alberto and Beryl come and gone, right? So that means we still have Chris, Debbie, Florence, Michael, Patty, Sarah.
From the looks of it, Tony and Valerie might be coming as well. So we need to pick up some extra hurricane supplies.
You don't know how many hurricanes will be coming this season, so you need to be prepared. At Hubbard's Hardware and Building Supply Departments and the Food Fair supermarkets, everything from canned foods, flashlights and batteries, to plywood, tarpaulin, lanterns, roof repair kits, water tanks, etc. are available. For over 90 years, we've helped you prepare for and recover from storms. Hubbard's is an integral part of your hurricane preparedness plan. Get discounts when using credit and debit cards.
Easy living should be convenient. With Grenneck, it is. Dial 237 for any Grenneck department, or for customer service, streetlight outages, or if it's unsafe to trim a tree near a power line. For streetlights and service issues, please note the pole number. From just about anywhere, you can also check your bill balance and other account information. Just keep your Grenneck access number handy. Dial 237 for Grenneck. It's that easy. Grenneck, energizing our Grenada.
Grenada Market has now introduced the prime products to online shoppers in the UK via amazon.co.uk. Zebrapick, Nutmed, Bourbonday and Mobiback are now available, with more products being added gradually. These products are shipped across the UK and Europe free of charge for Amazon Prime members and backed by Amazon's reputable customer service. Avoid international shipping. Buy in your local area. Amazon.com in the USA, Amazon.ca in Canada, and Amazon.co.uk in UK and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability. And wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Folks, take a look at me. I'm blushing. Why am I blushing? There's a note here on Facebook from Deborah Parker Stratus Robinson. That's a pretty darn lengthy name, ain't it? And she says, "Hi there, George, from Deb in Columbus, Kansas. You're looking great." Debbie, you're making the makeup smear. I don't wear makeup, please, okay? And by the way, Shireen Blake is also congratulating Ruth on her initiation this morning. Ruth did the Caribbean Literature Report. Folks, let us now turn to the national report from the GIS.
Parish of St. Patrick certified tsunami ready. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the national report for Friday, September 21st, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. St. Patrick is the first parish in Grenada that has been certified tsunami ready by USAID and other organizations, including the Caribbean Tsunami Information Center and the Caribbean Tsunami Warning Program, following a recognition ceremony at the St. Patrick's Anglican School on Thursday. The journey towards certifying the parish and promoting preparedness began in June 2017 with community consultations and the erection of signs throughout the parish. Parliamentary representative for St. Patrick West, the Honourable Anthony Boson, said it's no surprise that St. Patrick was the first parish chosen. He said the risk is high for tsunamis and other hazards that can affect the parish.
Not far from here is an underwater volcano, known as Kikamjini, which is the main trigger for a tsunami attack. Additionally, a significant number of our people reside along the low-lying coastline and coastal valleys. Therefore, the potential impact of a tsunami in terms of loss of lives and property is extremely high.
The Caribbean Tsunami Information Center consultant Alison Brome says other pilots will be held throughout the island to get them certified to be tsunami ready.
You are at the forefront because this is where the vulnerability is, and this is where we want to reach in a very short space of time so that you can be empowered and educated to take the necessary action that you need to in the event that there's a tsunami threat. And we have invested in your education as well as your preparation for any tsunami threat. And as we look forward then to our upcoming pilots, there are many lessons that we can learn. And this approach, we think, augurs well for the countries as they go on from small communities to actually nominate additional communities and, of course, make the entire country tsunami ready.
Minister responsible for disaster management, Senator the Honourable Winston Garraway, says times are changing and we cannot afford to be caught off guard in the face of disasters. He reiterated that preparedness is key.
We live in times where we must be climate smart and tsunami smart at the same time. We are aware of the 2017 to 2018 hurricane season. Words like challenging, devastating, and so on comes to mind. If I say Hurricane Irma and Maria, I'm sure you will recall the havoc these hurricanes created in our region last year. We are now speaking not of category 1 and 2, but of 4 and 5 on the Richter scale. Monstrous storms.
Chinese Ambassador Dr. Zhao Yongchen says Grenada and China are poised to welcome an even brighter future that benefits the people of both countries now that they have signed the MOU for the Belt and Road Initiative. Grenada has now joined Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Guyana and Suriname, all of whom signed MOUs on the initiative in the last 6 months. The Belt and Road is described as a major international cooperative initiative led by the principle of extensive consultation, joint contribution and shared benefits. Dr. Yongchen says, bearing these in mind, Grenada and China will come to a new stage of working closer together to promote practical cooperation in various fields.
We need to strengthen people-to-people bonds and carry out cooperation in science, education, culture, health, and people-to-people exchange.
Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honourable Peter David, says as Grenada embarks on its long-term strategic plan, the cooperation they will receive will benefit the country tremendously. He spoke of the next step now that the MOU has been signed.
Well, we will both have to have our technical personnel in the Ministry of Finance and the other ministries meet with Chinese personnel in the Asia Development Bank, which is the bank that is the source of it. We will have to do the administrative processes like join the bank, and there's some administrative processes, following which we will engage with the People's Republic of China to discuss projects, financing for projects, the things that we want to do under the Belt and Road Initiative. Of course, it's going to mean that our technical people may have to visit China, the Chinese technical people visit Grenada, and then after that process we seek the financing, and then we proceed with the implementation of the projects.
By June 2018, the total volume of trade in goods between China and countries along the Belt and Road had surpassed $5 trillion, and China's outward direct investment had surpassed $70 billion. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The CCJ will be a Caribbean court, reflective of Caribbean culture, Caribbean values, and everything Caribbean. I ask this question: which court do you think will adequately reflect the views of Caribbean people to those who worry? Will it be the Privy Council, persons in Britain, persons who have never lived in the Caribbean, persons who don't share our values, persons who don't understand what we stand for and what values we uphold? Or would it be our people who have grown among us, who live among us, who attend the churches we attend, who attend the schools we attend, who are members of the soccer teams that we are members of? Who best do you think will reflect us?
It's about time. It's long overdue. We should be there because, get out of the British thing, and so we are all one Caribbean, and I think that will be binding us more together.
Yours is yours. Privy Council is not ours. No matter what we do, what we say, no matter what ties we had to England, this is the time to keep divesting ourselves of those strings that tie us unnecessarily.
There's nothing in this bill for any partisan political party. Nothing. There's only one thing in this. It's for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and for the Caribbean region as a whole.
Justice has to be accessible, affordable, and swift.
Continuing the news, another call has been made for the establishment of a legal aid representative in Grenada's criminal justice system. This call was made on Tuesday during the opening of the new law year by High Court Judge Madam Justice Paula Guilford. In 2015, during the opening of the October criminal assizes, the Director of Public Prosecution, Christopher Nelson QC, highlighted the need for a legal aid representative within the criminal justice system. He said the absence of the system was significantly impacting the administration of justice. 3 years later, Justice Paula Guilford said without a legal aid representative system, there is no equal justice for everyone. She stressed that no one should be left unrepresented because they cannot afford.
Time and time again, the court has advocated the need for a functioning legal aid system. There needs to be a system in place to ensure that everyone is given the right to equal justice before the law. Honorable Attorney General, and I did urge the last Attorney General to put some mechanism in place to ensure that no one is left unrepresented because he or she is unable to afford legal representation. An unrepresented defendant presents several challenges to the court.
Justice Paula Guilford suggested that defense lawyers do pro bono representation on a case-by-case basis, which will alleviate the problem currently faced without the system in place.
It may mean that lawyers are retained on a case-by-case basis until a proper managed system becomes a reality. One of the obstacles is that some unrepresented accused persons are unable to participate in their trial. Sometimes some of them are unable to read. They're unable to write. They're unable to understand the court process. And this in itself is a grave injustice. Presently, state-funded cases are only for capital offenses. In a developing society, it is imperative that an entity be established to ensure there is a level playing field for everyone who falls afoul of the law. It is my solemn wish, Honorable Attorney General, that this will become one of your successful endeavors. I also call upon attorneys to take the initiative and provide pro bono representation. If each attorney takes some time from his or her busy schedule to undertake a minimum of 2 cases per year for the public good, that in itself would assist in alleviating the problem.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Okay, folks, we are back. Do you like my coffee mug? Take a look at this. It says here, Moni. Couple of things here. Bev, hang in there for a sec. I just want to say a couple of things before we get to you, Bev. First of all, during that newscast, Patty Williams on Facebook said, "How are we paying them back?" I guess she was referring to that story about the Chinese. And then she came back a little later on and said, "Peter, you are a lawyer. You should know that the law is not about values and culture. You people need to stop playing the dumb game with Grenadians. Look out. Here comes England with visas for Grenadians traveling to England." Are you being prophetic, Patty? Thanks for chiming in anyway. And then there's another note here from a buddy out there. I think, goodness knows where he is today, but I think he might be in New York. Jerry Hopkins says, "Good day to you, George, and to all of your listeners and viewers. I am pleased to announce that I just shared your live." Well, thank you very much for doing that. You know, Margaret Francis would be very pleased with you, Jerry. She continually reminds me to say, share the like, share the like, share the like. Unfortunately, there's so much going on in here that I never, ever seem to remember to do that. So I do appreciate the fact that you pointed it out. Folks, let me take a little break here, and then we'll come on back and chat with Beverly after this.
2, 3, 7. If you wanna check the Grand Lac balance on your phone, or report a faulty line near your home, if there is an emergency, take out your phone. These are 3 numbers that you should know. 2, 3, 7. Call me anytime, I'm always on the line. 2, 3, 7. Just call me anytime, I'm always on the line. 2, 3, 7.
Grenada Market has now introduced the prime products to online shoppers in the UK via amazon.co.uk. Zeberpick, Nutmed, Bobanday and Mobiback are now available, with more products being added gradually. These products are shipped across the UK and Europe free of charge for Amazon Prime members and backed by Amazon's reputable customer service. Avoid international shipping. Buy in your local area. Amazon.com in the USA, Amazon.ca in Canada, and Amazon.co.uk in UK and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
When a hurricane watch or warning is in effect, act quickly. Listen to the media for official information. Set your refrigerator to the coldest temperature to help food last longer. Move electrical devices from areas where they may get wet. During a hurricane, stay indoors. Be mindful that you may lose power and keep listening to the media. Unplug all electrical devices and take off your main switch. This will reduce the potential for damage or fire. Avoid opening refrigerators and freezers, as food will thaw more quickly. Assume all wires are energized and stay away from them. In the event of island-wide damage, GrenLec will restore power to critical facilities first. These include hospitals, police, fire departments, and water supply pumps. For more information, please visit us at grenlec.com.
GrenLec, energizing our Grenada.
Alrighty, folks. For whatever reason, I seem to have lost my my picture. You guys don't want to see me, right? So I'll tell you what. That's fine. However, I do have on the line with me Beverly Sinclair. Let's say good morning. Hello, Bev.
Good morning, George.
How
and good morning to your wonderful listeners.
Bev, it has been quite a while. We missed you, girl. We missed you.
Aww, you make me feel so when you say you've all missed me.
I'll tell you what. We so missed you, Bev. It seems like you brought a little jinx with you this morning. For whatever reason, my camera has sort of gone kapoo on me, and as a result, I'm hearing you, but I'm not seeing you, and neither are they seeing me this morning.
Oh.
So.
That's not good.
I'll tell you what, while we try to get that sorted out, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and share with us.
Well, George, referendum, I don't even really like it a referendum. I'm going to find another word for it. But the thrust to get the Caribbean to log on to the CCJ is in high gear. Referendum date is coming up, of course. It's the 6th of November. So, what I'm thinking, George, is that we need to have a session to hear the other voices. I mean, what you did with Jerry and Ruggles Ferguson yesterday. Oh, and by the way, I hear Ruggles offering you a big work. What you did with...
Bev, don't get started.
My goodness. I'm not getting started at all, but as I mentioned, that session with Ruggles and Jerry yesterday, it just jumped back out on me.
Yeah.
I call it inducement. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
But that session with Ruggles and Jerry yesterday was quite informative. But George, I believe I'm going to approach the Prime Minister's office and get some funding for a CCJ forum, because money is being spent for this, and I don't see why I shouldn't ask for funding for a session on the CCJ. We have been hearing from past presidents, present president. We've been hearing from RJLSC in the form of Dr. Alexis. We've been hearing from the Monetary Council in the form of Mr. Ruggles Ferguson. We've been hearing from all the people who are singing the same song. And George, I am hearing the cry more and more. People want to hear other voices.
And that's
why the voice of Jerry Edwin was so welcome.
You know, that's why I did that. And Bev, I invite people to listen this coming weekend because would you believe at about 7:30 this morning, I heard from a gentleman by the name of Brian Pitt. I'm sure you know Brian. And
yes.
Brian recently attended a forum, I think it was down at TAMCC with Sir Dennis Byron and the Prime Minister and so on and so forth. And he made some observations down there, and he wants to come share those with me at the first available opportunity. So I've invited him to come in on Sunday. And there are other people who are now starting to come out of the woodwork because they have something to say. I think people are a little bit tired of hearing one side of the story. So I guess that's the point you were making. Yeah.
And that is why I believe we should seek, and I intend to seek funding from the source which is funding this campaign to do a forum for other voices. George, people are raising concerns. They would like to get some answers. And when we attend these sessions, you are relegated to 30 seconds and 2 minutes to ask a question, and you get the same answer that you've been getting all along, and you just don't get answer to what you want. So I would like to invite people like Sandra Ferguson, Dave Ned, Joseph Roberts, people from civil society, because even though Dr. Alexis is supposed to be representing civil society, that is a whole nother argument that needs to be had. So we want to invite these people, persons like Brian Pitt, you know, and myself, people like Jerry George. We have some concerns in Antigua. We have a list of people in Antigua who would like to hear what are their concerns about the CCJ. And we want to have a forum where these people can come and do their presentations, not be relegated to a 2-minute question.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get the same answer. So I intend to seek some funding to get that done, George. What do you think?
Absolutely. You got my support on that. Whether or not you're going to... I'm not going to hold my breath, but...
Well, you see, I like to ask, you know, because you can only get one of two answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes or no.
Yeah.
And if yes, that is fine. But if no, I will need an explanation. So why taxpayers' money is being spent on this campaign and it can't be spent for this forum.
Yeah.
So that is where it is, because there are a lot of concerns. You know, the president of the CCJ, the current president, I tell you, he has put himself in a very compromising position. I heard he had quite a thing in Antigua. And these are things that people want to talk about candidly. We do not want the polished answers.
Yeah.
We want to know how and when are these concerns going to be addressed.
Yeah.
We have questions, and we will invite the proponents. There are questions that they need to answer. Yeah. So we will invite them, but we want the other voices to do their presentations, to list out these concerns, because so often we hear, oh, you know, these people come and when you tell them to ask a question, they don't say anything, they don't have anything to say. But it's difficult when you go into a public session and someone says, okay, you come up to the microphone and there's a long line of people and you get a little place to ask a question and you can't ask a question properly and the question cannot be answered properly. So you really get nowhere.
You know, Bev, I'm glad you brought that point up because this afternoon for, I think it's about the 5th consecutive week, I do have Dr. Francis Alexis and Ruggles Ferguson coming in here, and they're going to be live, but just after 4 o'clock this afternoon, all right, on Facebook. Now, I have been taking a bit of flack from the general public because they say that all they're hearing on Grenada Broadcast is pro-CCJ, which ain't the truth at all. But I can understand why they're saying that. Now, it's because the program Law Made Simple has now been turned into a vote yes campaign. All right. I don't have any difficulty with that. I think people need to hear the views of the proponents, and that's why we've been putting it out there. But I'm sitting here listening to you now, Bev, and you are saying that, hey, there are other voices out there who need to be heard. And as I listen to you, I'm trying to formulate in my mind here some way to probably, in the same way that we devote this hour, Law Made Simple, to the yes vote, let us also devote an hour to other voices. And I'm saying other voices because there are a lot of people out there who are being described as being against CCJ when in fact, Bev, they are not. You heard Jerry Edwin yesterday on the program, for example. A lot of people
I heard him.
They are pro CCJ, but they're human beings. They're Grenadians. They have questions, and their concerns matter. It's not,
or it should matter.
Well, it should. Yes, it should. Okay, so we're going to find some way to give a voice to these other people. But in any event, on Sunday, I also want you listeners to join us because, as Bev suggested yesterday, was a scorcher, and we have some more scorchers coming. So continue, Bev. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I had to get that off my chest.
Yes, George. So we want to hear those who have concerns, and like you rightly say, it's not necessarily because they are against the CCJ. But if we can identify and highlight so many issues, why not deal with the issues before we go and adopt the court? Once you adopt the court, how do you deal with the issues?
You don't.
We all know they're not going to be dealt with. And I put that question to Ruggles yesterday, and of course he totally disagrees. We're speaking from history, we're speaking from what happens, we're looking at the current situation with the courts now. You don't even get a sense of urgency that people are really taking the whole situation seriously to get the court sorted out so that people can have access to justice. This access to justice that we keep hearing over and over again, access to justice has nothing to do with the proximity of the court. It has to do with a system being in place that is usable and that is working so that people can use that system and access justice. And it doesn't matter whether the court is here in the middle of St. George's or here in the middle of the Caribbean or it is somewhere in Timbuktu. It makes no difference. If the system works, people will have access to justice. So these are some of the arguments that just really let me shake my head when I hear it. As if the next door means you can just walk through the front door of the court and present your case. It doesn't work that way. And we need to stop this kind of nonsensical discussion about the CCJ and get real. There are issues, there are real issues, and it makes absolutely no sense to rush ahead, adopt the CCJ without a clear plan about how these issues are going to be dealt with.
Now, Bev, a couple of things I want to mention here. First of all, to our viewers on Facebook, as soon as Bev and I got started on this CCJ thing, we noticed that we lost our link with Facebook, okay? Please, hold on. I can't help but laugh. We see this happen time after time after time. But we are good souls, we're good spirits, not going to stop us, okay? And I just want people to know that right after the program's over, it's being recorded right now. So right after it's over, we're going to publish it on Facebook. We're going to publish it on YouTube anyway. And you'll also be able to go to GrenadaBroadcast and see and hear it there as well. Now, Bev, my question to you. A lot of concerns, you and I have heard a lot of concerns being raised by the public in recent times. But have you heard any of the proponents say, well, hey, listen, people are raising concerns. Rather than us telling them why they should adopt the CCJ, why don't we try and address their concerns? Have you heard any of the proponents do that?
Oh, no. Oh no, but what I have heard from many of the proponents is them trying to ridicule people's concern and trying to tell you you have no reason to be concerned.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I use the analogy, I think, on MetroChat on Thursday night. If it's not there, it was in another forum, where someone is in a bulletproof house, you know? You're in this building and it's totally reinforced against bullets. And you're inside the house and you're telling people outside and exposed, what are you worrying about? This place is reinforced, you know, it's safe in here. So you out there, you have no reason to be concerned. And you're out there and bullets flying left, right, and center around you and you trying to dodge them. And the people inside the bulletproof house sit there and trying to tell you you shouldn't be concerned. You know? That's the kind of feeling we're getting. Oh, what are you worried about?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I'm just very pleased that Grenadians are speaking up, and I hope they speak up even more. Really, you know, too often people just they have this habit of just phoning into radio stations or phoning into television stations and speaking without really giving thought to what they're saying. But I'm hearing some people make some very, very valid points about the CCJ. And hopefully these proponents will listen.
Yes, a lot of people speak from emotion, especially the people who just call into radio stations and say something.
Yeah.
Usually 99% of the time it's just emotional.
Yeah.
No really thought, no foundation, nothing. It's just how you feel. And how you feel is fine. No one is dismissing it. But if you have a concern, if you feel this way about something, you need to substantiate it and not just try to build an argument because this is how you feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of that happens. But like you, George, I am happy that people are really asking questions and looking for answers.
Yeah.
And some of the questions that are being asked have surprised me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it tells me that we really need to be opening up this discussion and drilling down deep and stop all of these what I call nonsense arguments about colonialism and slavery and access to justice and things that really have no effect on the ground.
Well, I'm very anxious to see how long that wig is going to remain in place after, assuming that the CCJ comes into effect. I want to see how long that wig is going to remain in place.
Yes, because if we're getting rid of the vestiges of colonialism, we need to get rid of the wigs, we need to get rid of the sirs, we need to get rid of the QCs, we need to get rid of the BMs and the MBA, all of these awards which are given by the Queen every New Year and on her birthday. We need to get rid of the Governor General. We need to get rid of the ceremonial
Her Majesty's prison.
We do every independence. Yeah, we need to get rid of all of those things if we're talking about the vestiges of colonialism. And don't come and tell me that, the CCJ will complete the cycle of independence. So we're not independent yet?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Bev. Listen, girl, thank you so much. And I'm sure that an upcoming edition of Make We Chat's going to be dealing even more with this issue, isn't it?
Oh, this will be the issue for a while, George.
Yeah.
It is going to be front and center on the agenda.
Yeah. Okay, and in addition to that, let's see here. On Facebook, John Kennison says, "Good analogy, Bev." I'm not sure which one he's referring to, but he agrees with you. And Chester says, Bev, I love that laugh.
Thank you, Chester.
Okay. All right, Bev, and I'm sorry that they're not able to see you today, but in an upcoming edition, we're going to try and get your video on there.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, my friend.
Take care, George.
You have a good day.
Thank you.
Take care.
You have a great one yourself, and all the listeners.
I'm going to go downtown and
Bye-bye.
try and take some pictures of that cruise ship a little later on.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll look for them on Facebook.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Alrighty.
So long.
Bye.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
Mm-mm. I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this.
Where you get that?
At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who's supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Grenada Market has now introduced the Prime products to online shoppers in the UK via amazon.co.uk. Zeberpick, Nutmed, Wabande and Mobiback are now available, with more products being added gradually. These products are shipped across the UK and Europe free of charge for Amazon Prime members and backed by Amazon's reputable customer service. Avoid international shipping. Buy in your local area. Amazon.com in the USA, Amazon.ca in Canada, and Amazon.co.uk in UK and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy. We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow. With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Spice Island.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Alrighty, folks. This is just about where we come to the end of the line on this Monday morning. I do thank you for joining us. Forgive my skepticism, but I have a little device here which gives me an indication of how things are going as far as the link between our studio here and Facebook is concerned. Things went beautifully this morning until Bev came on. And you know what? It didn't surprise me. It really didn't surprise me because we've seen this happen time and time again. But guess what? Now that Bev is gone, hey, look at it. Beautiful green light staring me right in the eye. This happens so many times when you have people with controversial voices appearing anywhere on. It happened on Chime as well. I'm sure that those of you who've been with us over the past 14 years know what I'm talking about. It's a recurring issue, and it's a damn shame that that is happening here in Grenada. It really is a shame. But you know what? It's not going to stop us. It's not going to stop us. we're going to continue trucking. And I thank you so much for your support out there. You know, I can imagine when I hit the streets later on today, I'm going to be hearing from people who saw, Mr. Grant, you know, hey, as soon as Bev came on, the internet gone. And I'm going to be hearing from people talking about that. I know it. Happened over and over and over again. But like I said, we're going to keep on trucking. Most importantly, God sees and knows what's going on. Just a reminder that Tropical Storm Kirk has been downgraded to a tropical depression now. I'm not saying that we're out of the woods, because he still seems to be headed in this direction. He's been going a pretty constant direction to the west. And, you know, maybe by the time he gets here, well, it'll be just a little sprinkle or whatever. But nevertheless, I do urge you, it's the hurricane season, so please make sure that you do take precautionary steps. And by precautionary steps, I don't just mean, you know, going out and stocking up, you know, filling up the supermarkets and coming home with a lot of food. No, not necessarily that. Try and cut any trees that may be overhanging your house. Try and clean any drains that may be clogged. If there are parts of your dwelling place that are not properly secured at this point in time, try and get that fixed as well. Try and get that fixed, okay? There are a lot of little things. And don't forget things like making sure that your insurance policy is intact. This is not a plug for insurance companies, but make sure that your insurance policy is intact. And for those of you who may rely on medication, make sure you've got a stock just in case, you know. The fact that we are approaching the end of September and we have so far been spared does not necessarily mean that we are yet out of the woods. We have seen systems in December, pilgrims, December, huh? So be on guard. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you, be on guard. After what I went through in Hurricane Ivan, the first opportunity I get to help anybody by helping them be prepared and avoid what so many of us went through in Ivan, I grab that opportunity. I really do. So, thanks again. Please spread the word that Gudday Grenada is on every weekday morning from 9 o'clock until usually 10:30. But this morning I see we're going until 10 o'clock. And that was the original goal, to go 1 hour. But we decided to creep because, as you know, we've been having some issues here. We don't have the big budgets to get the proper equipment that we need. Plus, we have these complexities with our internet providers that we just have to cope with. So it's been a tough time. But I do urge you to try and join us weekday mornings from 9 to 10. So long.